Hey guys, I have a quasi homeroom announcements video for you today. I'll talk a little bit about what's going on and then we'll jump into Fallout 4 and I'm going to show you a few things there too. So as many of my regular viewers know, I ran into a game-breaking glitch a couple weeks ago. Made a video about that if you want to check it out so you can make sure it doesn't happen to you. In the process of solving it, I accidentally deleted all my saves. I've still been putting out videos to keep the channel going and some of those videos have done really well in fact. I had a lot of fun with them too. But I'm finally caught up to where I was and I want to continue with my trivia walkthroughs for my last mission. What I want to do today is show you what's changed from my original character to my new character. I tried to make them identical, but my second playthrough actually has a few advantages over my original character from just the wisdom of playing the game. Plus I ran into some cool new equipment and some other things here and there. So let's go ahead and dive into the game and I'll bring you back up to speed before I resume my walkthroughs next week. Okay, so here's what's the same. I'm continuing with my epic stealth build. I have Kate as my companion and Sheffield and Dogmeat watching the grounds. I have most of the same clothing and equipment back with a few differences here and there. And I'm still mainly using the Red Rocket as my HQ. So here's what's different. Let's start with my stats. Actually, I'll go ahead and unequip a few things so you guys can see what the true values are. There we go. So, knowing I didn't need to take the Lone Wanderer perk anymore, I dumped Charisma by a point as well as Intelligence, and I put the extra points in Agility and Luck. Most of the rest of the stats stayed the same from my original build. The 3 extra points came from the special book in Sanctuary, which I put in Perception, the Perception Bobblehead in Concord, and I spent 1 perk on a point of Agility. I'll go over the perks I took in an upcoming episode. I'm going to make a video about this stealth build, but they're pretty much the same as my previous build if you were following along with my trivia walkthroughs with just a few minor differences. Alright, as for equipment, I think the extra point in luck, bringing it up to 6, made a significant difference because I got really lucky and found some stellar items without even having to farm for them. On the weapons side, I found a sniper version of the Deliverer in the form of that pipe rifle that I mentioned in episode 11, I think. Calling it the Shadow Shot. Yep, here it is. That's what I use for long range. Ironically, it doesn't have a marksman's stock on it. It's got a sharpshooter's grip instead. For some reason, I lose range when I add a rifle stock to it. And I think it's because I have a lot of ranks in the Gunslinger perk, which increases range. But the range of this is like double what the Deliverer is. So I just basically use this with the long night vision scope there for long range shots, and then all the close range shots, I use the Deliverer because they both pretty much have the same legendary effect. The difference is that the fire rate on this is pretty slow. So I don't get as many shots as with the Deliverer, but it's still pretty good. I think with my agility and the legendary action, I actually get 4 shots out of it, and it does a lot more damage. So yeah, this is sort of my impromptu go-to sniper rifle until I get something better, which I think I'm actually going to try to get on Monday. We'll see about that. I also stumbled upon one of these kneecapper legendary weapons, which is extremely useful in stopping big hulking creatures in their tracks that try to charge me. And the fascinating thing about all this is that all those mods on it, I didn't build those. I just pulled those off of other guns and added them to this. So it's got a crazy fire rate, and it isn't an automatic weapon. So I get the Sandman perks, and I get all the regular perks that I get with the Deliverer. I still get more shots off with the Deliverer, but this one actually has that 20% cripple chance. So I'll use this on targets for mid-range, and then as they get closer, or if I'm sneaking up on them, with stealth, then I'll continue to use the Deliverer. It's pretty awesome. I got something for long range, something for medium range, and something for short range. I'll show you how I modded out the Deliverer here. And these are all also mods that I could add to it without having any gun nut perks. Didn't waste any perks on those, so it's pretty awesome. Okay, let's head over to the armor. Oh, and I'll just show you, I have the Cryolator, which I also modded out, so it's doing some electricity damage now. So I use that for the big guys I need to slow down. And I've got these Wolverine claws, which are just knuckles with blades on them. But I use that for extreme close range. So that's pretty much my entire loadout as far as weapons goes. Pretty awesome. I only keep 10, 10, and 10 of these because I have a bunch more stacked up in a case. They actually weigh you down if you carry too many. So I have just enough to go on each mission. I'll come back and freshen up, so to speak. All right, let's head over to armor. Okay, so my main items that I use for armor are these military fatigues, which boost agility. I also have shadowed leather, but I found this piece of chameleon leather, a chest piece, which also allowed me to mod it with pockets and shadow it as well. One piece is all you need actually to go invisible when you crouch and stand still. It's pretty awesome. I hope to find some more pieces because I think they stack. But it's awesome that it happened to be a chest piece and it happened to be leather. So that was a huge bonus. Yeah, nice black armor. Fits the character perfectly. See, and I have these other ones. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't end up being like just a, a random like left leg or something. Having it be in the center just makes more sense to me. Yeah, before I show you the disadvantage about the chameleon, I've got the military fatigues. I've got these backup army fatigues, which if I need to carry a bit more, drops my agility by 1, but adds it to strength. And then I've got the wrapped cap, the wraparound goggles. So my stats end up looking like this before I even take any chems or do anything like that. It's pretty awesome. Okay, so here's the one disadvantage to the chameleon armor. All right, first of all, let me draw a weapon so you can see what's going on here. Okay, when you crouch, you go invisible, and it kind of lights up the room just a little bit, just a fraction. But here's the problem. When you're crouching and you need to go into the Pip-Boy, here's what happens. Yeah, it makes it really difficult to see. I mean, it's impossible to see the map pretty much. So yeah, that's the only disadvantage. I end up having to stand, go into the Pip-Boy real fast, look at a map or something, exit, and then crouch immediately. And what I did to kind of counter that speed factor there was I reassigned the buttons. So I no longer have to click the right thumbstick to go into crouch. I press the B button on an Xbox One.
Nothing's more satisfying than a smoking gun and a pocket full of caps.
No kidding, Kate. So yeah, and then I reassigned going to the Pip-Boy into the right thumbstick because I don't do that quite as often. So yeah, I can drop up and drop down really fast now. It's pretty cool. Okay, so back into the equipment. Yeah, if you notice here, I didn't bother buying the syringer this time because I found it doesn't work on the tougher creatures. And who wants to bother chem darting lower creatures when I can pretty much one-shot them now, you know what I mean? So yeah. Got a bunch of stealth boys ready to go. Actually, I have a lot more than this, but they're, they weigh a pound each. So they're stacked in a box here at the Red Rocket. And yeah. Pretty decent on ammo, and got to go back and buy some more cryo cells from Arturo in Diamond City. By the way, if you guys haven't seen my video on getting the cryolator super early in the game, totally 100% fairly, then you definitely want to watch that video. I'll put a link for it in the iCard above and the description below. But yeah, I picked up the cryolator like around, I don't know, like 7th level maybe or something. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Otherwise, you have to wait till 18th level to get the Master Locksmith perk. I don't even know if you can do the dog meat glitch anymore. I don't do any glitches in my walkthroughs or any exploits, anything like that. So it's pretty cool that I stumbled on the totally fair way to get it super early. So check out that video. Okay, well, yeah, I think we're almost caught up here. As for missions, here, let's go into, as for missions, I still haven't done a whole lot, actually. I did the same missions as my previous character. Got the Picket Fences magazines in between episodes, a couple of Junktown Jerky Vendor mags, and just explored a tiny bit more. But with the Idiot Savant perk and an int of 2 now, combined with the Well-Rested perk and the Squirrel Stew, I got to level 20 pretty fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend these last 4 perks with you, or at least a couple of them, and then I'll be ready to resume with you guys on my regular missions next week. So let's jump into the perk menu. Okay. Well, I was looking over this, and I still can't get Ninja yet. I still can't get another Mr. Sandman, and I can't get another Sneak. So I'm not sure if I want to spend any more on Rifleman until I figure out whether it's actually more advantageous to go ahead and keep taking Gunslinger and have the range on the pistols, end up compensating for rifle type ranges. So I'm in a weird place right now. What I think I'm going to do is go ahead and take another Gunslinger perk. That one's pretty easy. Damage is going to start getting insane. Okay, so we can't pick up that for a few more levels. And then I was looking at the rest of these perks, and by the way, I was thinking about taking Action Boy, but there's a perk down here that is really cool. It's called the Grim Reaper Sprint. And I kill things quite a bit in VATS, actually, like almost all the time. So if we can go from 15 to 25 to 35, we won't even need to have any more of this Action Boy here. But unfortunately, I need another couple points of luck. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 1 point on luck now. And then I think I'm going to wait and get the luck bobblehead. And then we'll be able to take this Grim Reaper Sprint from then on, or at least, as far as the levels will allow us to do. So I've got 2 more to spend. I think I'm just going to be able to spend 1 more here. And I'm not even sure what I want to spend it on, to be honest. Yeah, I'm being super conservative with my perks, just trying to be super efficient with it. I didn't even take Mysterious Stranger anymore because, it wasn't happening often enough to make a difference. And so what I think I'm going to do actually is go ahead and take Bloody Mess here. The only reason I didn't want to take it early on in the game is because what happens to me sometimes, I don't know if this happens to everybody, but what happens to me is that the body will explode, and then sometimes it's really hard to find the body parts in order to loot them. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're in tall grass or something. So I've shied away from the Bloody Mess because I wanted to loot things pretty early on. But now that we're, getting on into the 20s, I don't need to worry about money so much. And by the way, this Fortune Finder, having 2 levels of that, made a huge difference in me being able to afford stuff. It really does make a difference, especially if you actually bother to look in all of the containers and stuff. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take 1 level of this because it won't happen too often, but the 5% bonus to damage does happen all the time. That's a permanent effect, and it applies to all weapons. So I'll go ahead and do that. All right, perfect. So that means I've spent perks now for levels 1 through 20. And I'm still going to wait to decide what I want to spend the last one on. So yeah, we'll be able to do that probably in the next adventure when I have a little more time to decide. But I definitely wanted to spend at least those 3 with you guys so you can continue to see which direction I'm going on this epic stealth build. Okay, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Just wanted to get you guys caught up as I got caught up, and then we're going to resume with the walkthroughs and the other deep delving into Fallout 4 next week. I had a lot of fun with the Easter eggs, but it's time to get serious again, all right? So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you slap a like on it and share this video around. Subscribe if you haven't. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week. Peace.